The Trial of Three Shadows. In the village of Maji, hidden beneath cascading rice terraces and mist-covered peaks, lived three inseparable friends. Kael of the Fire Eyes, Jin of the Laughing Heart, and Rin the Silent Arrow. They were born under the same red moon, in the same hour, and shared not only age but blood promises. Their lives intertwined like braided bamboo, unbreakable. Even in the fiercest storm, Kael was passionate and impulsive, a swordsman with a fiery temper but a heart that wept for fallen birds. Jin was the charmer, whose wit could melt the frost from the oldest elder's lips. Rin, ever silent, understood things others did. Noth could read the wind like a scroll and saw truths others feared. One evening, during the Lantern Festival, a mysterious old sage known only as the Weigher of Souls appeared, bearing a crimson scroll bound with a phoenix feather. He declared, "To honor the ancient covenant, one among you must be chosen not by strength, not by laughter, not by silence, but by loyalty. To test the heart, you must switch paths. For 3 days, each shall live the life of the other, and on the fourth, only one shall speak the truth." And so, the test began. Kael became Jin, donning the mask of humor and charm, walking the bustling markets, soothing disputes with jokes, sipping tea with flirtatious girls who once whispered to Jin in secret. Jin became Rin, walking in silence through the forest, observing deer, fixing broken traps, delivering secret messages between mountain clans, seeing the world through stillness. Rin became Kael, taking up the sword, leading warriors in drills, defending the village gate, and feeling the heat of anger when injustice surfaced. Each friend began to see what their brother carried in secret. Kael, in Jin's life, discovered his friend's laughter masked deep loneliness. Jin, in Rin's skin, uncovered whispers of betrayal brewing in the northern forest. Rin, as Kael, felt the crushing weight of expectation how Kael bore the shame of his family's past while still standing tall. On the fourth day, they returned to the temple where the Weigher of Souls waited. A fire burnt between them, casting long shadows. The sage asked only one question: "Who among you betrayed the Brotherhood?" None had, yet silence hung heavy. But Rin, the Silent Arrow, stepped forward and spoke his first words in weeks. "I did. In thought, not deed. When I lived as Kael, I envied his courage and hated my own silence. I wished to be him, and in doing so, I turned my heart from him." Kael clenched his fists, but Jin stepped forward too. "Then I too have betrayed. When I lived as Rin, I discovered a secret scroll addressed to the northern rebels. I read it. I should have told you both, but I feared it would break us." Kael looked between them and nodded. "Then we all have. For I too have betrayed. I lived as Jin and mocked a village elder to please a crowd. I wore his skin, but not his soul." The Weigher of Souls smiled, revealing eyes that glowed like stars. "Loyalty is not the absence of betrayal, but the courage to admit it. All three have passed, but only one can carry the burden that comes next." And so, the second trial began. The temple doors groaned open, revealing a dark stairwell spiraling into the earth. The Weigher of Souls extended his hand toward the flames, and they split into 3 blue lanterns, floating toward the friends. "One of you will ascend, one will protect, one will fall. The path chooses, but the crown only settles on the loyal." The friends shared a long look. For the first time, their bond quivered. They descended into the Cavern of Mirrors, where each step echoed like thunder. The walls shimmered, reflecting not their faces but their fears. Kael saw himself with blood-stained hands, standing over a friend's fallen body. Jin saw himself lost in a silent world, laughter forgotten. Rin saw himself alone, seated on a throne of skulls. They emerged into a stone chamber, lit by a single shaft of moonlight. In the center, atop a pillar of obsidian, floated an ethereal crown made of bone and starlight, the crown of choosing. But the moment they stepped closer, the chamber rumbled. The crown vanished, and the pillar split into 3 thrones, each bearing a symbol: a flame for Kael, a mask for Jin, an arrow for Rin. Suddenly, a 4th throne, unmarked and crumbling, rose from the ground. The sage's voice boomed from the walls. "To lead, one must lose all. To protect, one must walk unseen. To fall, one must rise in another form. The 4th throne is for Noner, for the one who sees beyond self." The friends sat in silence. No one moved. Then Kael stood. "I was always the fire, but I burned too quickly. Rin should lead, he sees far. Jin should protect this joy heals. As for me, he walked toward the crumbling throne. Jin jumped up. No, you're sacrificing again. That's not loyalty, that's guilt. Rin stood too. We must vote. None takes the burden alone. Suddenly, the thrones cracked and the friends fell into darkness. They awoke in separate corners of a vast garden filled with whispering trees and white petals that floated without wind. The garden was haunted with voices of their past childhood laughter, old arguments, lost family. Each friend was faced with a ghost. Kael faced the spirit of his father, who had abandoned the village in cowardice. Jin faced the shade of his younger sister, who once ran into the river after a fight with him and never returned. Rin faced himself an older version, crowned and alone, with dead eyes and no name. To leave the garden, each had to forgive and be forgiven. Jin knelt in tears, whispering apology after apology until the river's ghost smiled and vanished into mist. Kael stood tall before his father's spirit. You left us in shame, but I've held on to it too long. I forgive you not for you, but for me. The spirit crumbled into flame. Rin stared at his older self. You become this if you choose power over people, the older Rin said. Rin whispered, Then I choose them. The older version smiled. Then you are already more than I was. When they returned to the chamber, the Weigher of Souls was gone. The crown had returned divided into 3 pieces. As dawn broke over the mountaintops, the 3 friends stood beneath the Temple of Winds, each holding a piece of the crown. This was never about ruling, Rin said quietly. Or passing tests, added Jin. It was about understanding each other's burdens, Kael finished. They placed the pieces together not to wear, but to bury beneath the roots of a cherry blossom tree in their village. From that day on, the people spoke of the 3 shadows of Jiran warrior, healer, and watcher who proved loyalty, not by never straying, but by always returning. Each friend took a quiet role. Kael became protector of the village, never seeking power, only guarding it. Jin wandered, bringing peace through music and stories, protecting without title. Rin faded into the mountains, watching from the shadows, a guardian with no name. And as for the 4th throne, some say it still waits, crumbling but patient, for the one who chooses sacrifice not from duty but from love. And so, beneath the cherry blossom tree, the whispers of loyalty, loss, and love still linger like petals on the wind. Some say, when the moon is red and the mountain winds hush, the 3 shadows walk once more, watching, waiting, guarding a loyalty stronger than blood. For in every tribe, there is a test, and in every heart, a throne. But tell me, traveler, if the path demanded your truth, would you pass the trial? Until next time, best regards, Folktales of Many Tribes.